This is the Cycling Over 60 podcast, Season 3, Episode 7, Cyclocross Over 60. And I'm your host, Tom Butler. I want to start out this week with a personal reflection. I am worried about the environment in the U.S. for cyclists. It seems to me that the new administration is mean-spirited. In a recent talk, Trump asked the crowd if they would like to see him, quote, knock the hell out of the people backstage, end quote. The crowd erupted in cheers. This was over a microphone that Trump was getting exhausted holding. When I am out riding, I feel very vulnerable to pickup trucks that have angry drivers. I think a nation that is getting more mean-spirited poses an increased risk to me while I am out on the bike. I hope I am wrong, but it sure feels like there are a lot of people who want to punish anyone that gets in their way. I don't like that a spirit of aggression is coming from the very top, but it does motivate me even more to advocate for safe bike lanes. I finished the trainer bike build this week. Here is the end result. The total price for parts came in at $554. I had pedals, a seat post, and a saddle, so the costs for these aren't factored in. I also put on a front wheel from another bike. It would be possible to make some kind of stand for the front forks and just forego a front wheel, I guess. I will probably pick up a wheel sometime at a used bike store. If I do, I think I will buy a puncture-proof solid tire. I've always been a bit curious about them. I think I could have shaved off $100 from the build without much work. The obvious place that I could have saved money was with a used frame. I'm thinking I could have got a hold of a used steel frame pretty cheap. However, I do really like how the new frame looks. I went with a Shimano Dior derailleur and shifters to go with a 10-speed cassette. I think I could have saved money with a microshift derailleur and shifters. I did go with a microshift 42 crankset. I also probably would have gone with a 9-speed cassette if I didn't already have the 10-speed on the trainer. One of the decisions is going to take some time to know if I did the right thing. I put a butterfly handlebar on the bike. I wanted to have a lot of hand position options, and of course I didn't need to be in an aerodynamic position, so I thought I would give them a try. I'm going to be tweaking the angle of the bars to see what works best for me. Overall, I'm really happy with this as a dedicated trainer bike, despite paying a bit more than I had hoped. And without brakes, it only has one use, because it isn't going on the road anytime soon. I've mentioned before that I live on a plateau. It was created by a mud flow from Mount Rainier, and it's quite large. There are several ways to get down to the valley by car. However, I've tried many of them by bike, and have yet to find a way that isn't really risky. This isn't a problem for me when it comes to riding my bike for fitness. Now that a new bridge has connected a couple of communities on the plateau, there are plenty of routes up here. However, there's a lot of stuff that I have to do in the valley. And as far as I can tell, the roads down to the valley are not suitable for riding a bike. I'm pretty sure that no action will be taken to address this because there is a plan in place to repair the bridge on the trail that goes down to the valley. They plan to have that completed next year. But it would be really nice to have more than one way to bike down. That got me wondering how someone would start the process of advocating for addition of a bike lane to an existing road. Maybe I will look into that soon and report on what I learn here. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that I've started spending time at cyclocross events. I've become really intrigued by the scene. So last weekend, I decided to take a microphone to an event and do some interviews with riders who were over 60. Here's what I got. My first interview is with Andrew Bennett, who finished first in the Category 4 male 60-plus group. For most of the race, Andrew stayed out in front. His lap times were somewhere around 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That compares to lap times of about 7 minutes for the general Category 4 male winner. Hi, what's your name?
Andy Bennett.
So, Andy, how was today's race?
Today's race was great. It was my first win.
Okay, nice, nice. And what category?
Cat 4 60 plus.
Okay. And how'd you find the course to be?
The course was fantastic. It's the long ride up. That's kind of my strength. I've got pretty good lungs. I'm not super technical, but I can climb. So I like that.
Great. Now, were you cycling other ways before you got into cyclocross, or?
I do a little bit of gravel riding. So I did some gravel grinders over the summer. But mainly I'm a commuter.
Okay.
And my commute is just long enough to sort of count as training for cross.
Gotcha. Now, how long have you been racing?
I started, I think, 2 years before COVID, so what's that make, like 6-7 years?
Okay.
Yeah.
So not that long.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's picked it up late, but it's been a blast.
What drew you to it?
I'd heard about it, but always been intimidated by it until my daughter had a soccer game at a park where there's a cyclocross race going on, and I watched it and I thought, maybe I can do this. So then the next race was Woodland Park, which is real close to my house, and I rode a lap to make sure I could before I registered.
Okay.
But once I realized I can do this, I registered, and I've been doing as much as I can ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many more races do you have this year?
Definitely going to do Woodland Park, and probably do the one down at North SeaTac. So 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many more years are you going to do it, you think?
A lot, I hope.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, what are you riding?
I'm riding a giant tough road that I bought 7 or 8 years ago, and it's the only bike I have. So it's my gravel bike, my commuter, my cross bike, and occasionally I've got some roadie friends. I go out and play with them.
So do you change out wheels or?
Yeah, over the course of the year, I'll swap out, go to slicks or bigger knobs for the gravel grinders, things like that.
Right. Okay.
Not too much. They're tubeless. It's kind of a pain.
Okay. So what are your goals for the rest of the season?
Starting the season, my goal was to finish in the front of the pack, but now that I won a race, my goal is to finish on the podium for my category.
Okay, nice. And when does that happen? When does
That'll
that get
be
recognized?
The Woodland Park race is the last MFG race, and so we'll know final season standings at the end of that race.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
How close are you?
I was 5th coming into today, but with today's win, I'm going to be right in the mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
My pleasure.
So what's your name?
Tom Kirkendall.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
All right.
So you were out here racing today.
Yeah.
How did it feel today?
It was good. I'm a little slow on the uphills, but the flats were fast and the corners were easy. And it was a heck of a lot of fun. It was a really good course.
Okay. So this course compared to other courses is pretty good.
Long, I think it was longer than a lot of them, and maybe a little bit faster than some of them because you get down here in the flats and you can go pretty quick, and the corners weren't really super tight, so you could kind of weave through the corners a little easier. So yeah, it was fast.
So stairs out here, or
the stairs? Yeah, I'm a terrible runner. So yeah, the stairs are probably a little more difficult than just a regular run up because they're stairs, and you can't just make your own pace. You gotta hit the stairs. So and at the top of the stairs it was still uphill. So if you were lucky and nobody was in front of you, you could jump on your bike and you could ride out of it. But if there was a bunch of people in front of you, it was pretty tough to ride out of the stairs. But it was good. It was fun.
So you've been racing cyclocross a while, or?
I think I started in 2019.
Okay. Yeah. So not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
Okay.
No.
How about before that? Road biking or anything?
Well, I've been biking forever.
Okay.
I didn't own a car until I was 21, so everything was bicycle, and so my wife and I have done a lot of touring and things like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what drew you to cyclocross?
The adventure of it all, and it's a really super good community of people. Everybody's pretty friendly, unlike road biking and things like that where they just want to kill you.
Okay.
But it's just a really good group of people. It gives you a reason to get in shape. It gives you a reason to push yourself beyond whatever else you were doing in October.
So you have more races this season still?
Yeah, we got I think 4 more.
Okay.
Something like that. 2 more MFGs and 2 more cross revolutions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, how long do you think you'll be doing this?
Oh, as long as my legs will keep going.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing it, late into my 80s if it's, if the body holds up.
Okay.
Don't hit too many trees.
Gotcha. So, any advice that you have for like older cyclists that want to get into cyclocross?
Don't worry about it. Just do it.
Okay.
Just get on the bike and ride.
Okay.
It's always fun to finish in the top 3 and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you finish last, you finished.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I finished.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So would you say it's different enough from road cycling that you want to do some preparation for it before your first race?
Yeah, you probably want to, make sure you're comfortable riding on dirt and doing tight corners and things like that. It's completely different than road biking in that, road biking is pretty much full on sit on the saddle and pedal your legs off, where here you have to get off and run and get over the barriers, and it's completely different, but yeah, you need to be in shape for it.
Yeah.
So if you're a good mountain biker, you're in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about your bike. What are you riding?
I have a Tom Ritchie.
Okay.
It's all steel, and everybody's always quite interested that I ride flat pedals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the reason why I ride flat pedals is I can get on and off a lot easier.
Did you start out that way, or did you?
I started off with SPD cleats.
Okay.
And I just had a hard time getting in and out of them, and filling up with mud and stuff like that. So I just said, I'm going over to flats, and I think, for me personally, I think it's the way to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyhow, it works for me.
Nice.
My bike is all steel. It's it's kind of old school in a way.
Yeah.
All the cables and stuff are on the outside.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So, but that's so cool. I think for me, it just feels better to have that than some old fancy carbon fiber whiz bang, $5,000 whatever.
Gotcha. Sometimes I wonder about being out here and crashing on a carbon fiber bike.
Yeah, Your speeds really aren't super fast. I mean, you're going fast, but you're not like a road bike where you might be hitting 30 plus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you're not really going too fast. But yeah, you can get hurt. You can hurt your bike too. I got ran over one time. I fell down and a guy ran me right over.
Okay.
And it was like, and he was worse off than I was.
Oh, okay.
But my bike survived quite well.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm like, okay, I got the right bike.
Right. Well, thanks for spending some time talking to me, and good luck with the rest of the races.
Oh yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Every day's a good day.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks now.
You bet. Enjoy.
What's your name?
Vicky Spring.
Nice to meet you, Vicky.
Well, thank you.
So how'd it go today?
It went very, very well because the course was fabulous.
Okay, what'd you like about it?
Oh, everything. There's straightaways, there's a couple descents. It's just fun.
Okay. Were you at Magnuson Park?
Yeah.
That was, it seemed like more of a beginner's course. Is that right to say? Or?
It was a very quick course, yes.
Okay.
Yep. The woman who usually wins in my category, she was upset because, this was, just so many straightaways, and I could beat her.
Okay. So you won last week. Or at Magnuson, I mean.
Magnuson.
Yeah.
So last MFG race.
Okay, and then how'd you do today?
I did all right.
Okay.
My real bike is, what would you say? It's convalescing. And,
okay.
And so this one was something I've never done a cyclocross race with. So.
Oh, interesting.
It was.
Okay.
But the course was fabulous.
So your convalescing bike, what is that?
It's a Cannondale.
Okay.
And it's one I got off Craigslist, and it's fabulous.
Nice.
Until it broke.
Okay. So do you think you'll be back on that one soon, or was it?
It's going to be 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I got probably another race with this one.
And how many more races do you have this season?
We have 3 more, I guess.
Okay.
Just 3.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to miss it.
How long you been doing it?
Tom, how long have we been doing this?
2019.
Okay. So I guess it's 5 years? 5 years.
And what drew you to it?
Huh?
What drew you to do it?
I'd heard about it, and I wanted to give it a go. And we had a husband of one of my friends was doing it and just said it was just fabulously fun. So, and he was right.
Okay. Okay. But you like the variety of this and the challenge of this?
Oh, yeah. You know, you've got the corners, you've got the nasty descents, you've got climbs. It's wonderful.
So if someone was over 60 and deciding that they wanted to do this for the first time, what would you say to them?
Go for it. Heavens, yes. Over 60 is not that bad.
No. And what would you say as far as, if you've never done it before, what are some skills that you'd want to learn before doing this?
Oh, that's a hard one because you've got to learn to corner. You got to learn to get off your bike real quick, pick it up, and go when you need to, like with those. Have you seen the barriers?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to get off fast, get back on fast. That's kind of the main skills.
Gotcha.
And go fast.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was really happy to be able to catch up with James Wagner, who at 81 years old was the oldest competitor in the Category 4 male 60-plus group. He finished 5th of the 16 riders in that group. What's your name?
Wagner.
Okay. And you were out here today racing?
Absolutely.
What did you think of the course?
It was great. This
Okay.
is one of the best.
Okay, nice
Yeah.
to hear. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love this course.
And how'd you feel about your effort today?
Oh, hey, any day on a bike is a good day.
Nice.
Some are better than others. Today was a good day. I felt fine.
Nice.
It was the only problem was all those guys that were passing me every time we get to the stairs.
Okay. So stairs here, is that a typical thing that you find on a cyclocross track?
It's not uncommon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, notice, unfortunately, the only downside of cyclocross is that you have to get off a perfectly good bicycle.
I like it. So how long you been doing cyclocross?
Maybe 10 plus years.
Okay. Were you riding road before that, or what were you doing before that?
My first love is dirt,
Okay.
and so mountain biking, and then I came to cyclocross after that.
Okay.
So road has gotten a little too dangerous, and so yeah, I prefer dirt.
Gotcha. How many more races you got this season?
2.
Okay. So you'll do a Woodland Park?
I'll do Woodland Park.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. You mind sharing your age?
My racing age is 105,
Okay.
but my real age is 81.
Okay, well, good. I don't know how that works with the racing age. I think at 81 out here, you seem younger than 81.
I am, well, if I'm younger at all, it's just because I'm lucky. And
Okay.
I just keep showing up.
Gotcha. What are you riding?
I am riding a Ridley. It's a Belgian bike.
Okay.
It's a great bike.
Okay. You've been riding that a long time, or did you just?
Just about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
What'd you make the switch?
I think it was the team I belonged to made the switch.
Okay.
But it's not so much the bike; it's really the training and just the time you put in to practice and so on.
Okay, so if someone was starting to do cyclocross for the first time, what might you advise them to practice?
You just show up here and watch what other people do and follow the wheels of the good guys and just do it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me.
Hey, my pleasure.
And good luck with
anything you can do to encourage more people to come out and do what is really a great sport. I will share with you the one cliche I picked up from somebody else. They said that this is the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Okay, I love it. Thanks so much now.
Hey, my pleasure. Take care.
Green welcome tent.
So what's your name?
Alistair Turner.
Nice to meet you, Alistair.
Yeah, good to meet you.
So tell me about the course here today. What's good about this course?
Well, it's not a fast course. It's a little bit more technical than a couple of the other courses. Lots of grass corners, but then two single track descents. One of which is pretty straightforward, and the second one, which is definitely not straightforward. It's kind of steep. It's got some turns, and on those turns, there's some big roots. So it makes it a little sketchy for some, and a little exciting for others.
So is that an atypical feature?
First call to staging. Category
Yeah, I would say
women,
that, you know,
non-binary
a
adults,
couple of the courses
Cat
this
3,
year
4,
had a feature
40
that's
plus,
as technical
50
downhill
plus,
as this
60
one.
Cat 4,
And most of the courses don't have
and
anything quite that
beginner women.
technical, I would say.
Stage
So
is
you're
up.
here, you're waiting to lead some kids through,
Yep.
and
This is the kids' preview lap.
well, I should let
And
you
I
go
might
do
have a
that.
couple here. You guys here for the kids' preview lap?
Thank you so much.
Okay,
right
well,
on. Let's do it.
go for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the
Oh,
time.
you're welcome. Thank you. And happy.
And your name?
Carrie Morris.
Nice to meet you, Carrie. So how did today go?
Well, it started out well. The preview ride was great. I rode down the tricky part of the hill, and then the first 2 laps I crashed on the hill, went at the very bottom, and not expecting to. And then I ran down it once, and then last time I made it down. So it was not my best, but it was fun, and I rode as hard as I could.
So what do you think about this course as far as the challenges?
This is one of my favorite courses of all time. I love it. I think the challenge is just right for me, where it's not just an easy thing, and it shows me what I need to work on. I still have some getting on and off the bike, or I get off the bike fine. Getting on the bike fast, things like that, are skills I can work on to improve.
Gotcha. How long you been doing this?
For about 6 years, I think. But 6 years.
What?
We took a couple years off for the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
What drew you to it?
Actually, my husband did. He loves watching all the World Cup events on TV, and then we have a really good friend, Craig Undum, that is awesome at cyclocross, and he's super fast. And so we were talking to him a lot about it, and then my husband, I went with him to buy a bike that he could use for the cyclocross course, and then he wouldn't leave without buying me a bike also.
Okay.
And I love it. I think it feels like riding your bike in the park when you're a kid. So it's very fun. You can just go crazy on it. If something's too risky, just back off a little bit. Yeah.
So your first race, did you feel like you were prepared, or did you just kind of go into
My
it?
very first race ever. The crowd is so welcoming here, the people, so we got a lot of tips on it. And my first race, I raced in the beginner all season, and it was good. There was one, it wasn't MFG. Mostly we do MFG, but it was a different one, and they had this really dangerous steep hill where they had it so the kids were also riding with the beginners, and the kids were wiping out all over this one course. So it was kind of tricky, but I did feel prepared, and I felt like I had the basics on how to get over the barriers, how to unclip and clip back on, and so it was fun. It's exciting. I get nervous still, but I get nervous before the races, and then for the effort, not for anything else.
So you have more races this season?
Yes. The next MFG race is in 2 weeks at Lower Woodland, and that's pretty close to our house. So that's my ride over there, and I'm hoping that they have the slip and slide this year. They have the last time we did it there, I didn't do the slip and slide. I regretted it ever since.
So that's on a hill, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's towards the back, and you have the option of not going on the slip and slide, or you can go to the top of it, and it's all foamy and bubbly, and you just hold your bike over your head and slide down, and it's just about as fast as going the other way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they have it.
So how long do you think you'll do this?
Well, I always think, I'm just about getting to the end of when I should be doing this, but then there's some people in our category that are 72, I think, and just so fast. So I guess as long as they're going, I could keep going. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who's like maybe done a lot of road cycling but has never done this? What are some things that they should do?
I would take a clinic or go out with someone that's done it and just practice some of the basics, and then go in on the beginning course. There's no pressure. Ride the preview laps. Always ride the preview laps, because you know what you're going to face. It takes a lot out of that guesswork when you get on the course. So always ride that, because then you can kind of even problem solve through. And if you ride with the preview course with the ambassador, then they'll give you some tips sometimes too, like let's talk about how to get down this piece and things like that. So
Nice.
keeps it safer.
So what are you riding?
This is I bought this from somebody right before the pandemic ended. My bike was so heavy, and now my daughter's using it, but it was so heavy, and I could hardly get the hill. It was probably like 27 pounds, and this one is so light. So I was just looked for a used one that someone was offloading, and it's so light compared to to the other one. So this is a Cannondale.
Perfect. Well, so good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Your name?
Cheryl Johnson.
Nice to meet you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
So, how was your day today?
It was great. It's a fun course. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you like about the course?
I like running up the steps over here.
Okay.
I like coming down the hill.
Okay.
The bad stuff.
Yeah, that seems like the tough stuff. So you like the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been doing this a while?
Yeah, a couple of years.
Okay. Well, that's not a long time, though.
About 10 maybe.
Oh, about 10 years? Okay. Okay. Did you do road stuff also? Or?
I mountain bike.
Okay.
Mountain and cross.
Okay. So tell me the difference between the two. How would you contrast cyclocross with mountain biking?
Mountain biking, your tires are bigger.
Okay.
You've got different handlebars, of course. You're just on single track all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah. So is this a little more demanding from a cardiovascular perspective,
Yeah,
do you think? Okay.
Because this is go all out for 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, you go all out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, what are you riding?
I'm riding Specialized.
So how many more races are you going to do this season, you think?
I think there's one more left for MFG, 2 left for Cross Revolution, and then sometimes we go down to Oregon and do the OBRAs down there, the Oregon Bike Race Association. Okay. Or we travel a lot cross country. We've done cyclocrossing from here to New Jersey, to New York, to Florida, Kansas. We've been all over.
What do you think about the cyclocross community?
Oh, they're terrific. Everybody's so nice, very supportive. You know, we really want people to ride their bikes.
Okay.
We don't care what kind of bike you're on.
Right.
Just get on a bike.
Okay.
Just a wheel even. We even have unicyclists occasionally.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So if someone was just starting to look at it and making a decision about whether to do it, what would you say to them?
Oh, definitely do it. Just go have fun. You don't have to win. You just have to get on your bike, get off the couch, and go.
How about some practice things? Or what are some things someone should practice?
Yeah, like if you join a team, a lot of them have team practice, teach you how to get off and on the bike. It's just a matter of riding. Okay. You just got to get out and ride.
So would you say that's one difference? Like on a mountain bike, you're not on and off?
You're not off. Yeah. You're only off if you crash.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Okay, your name?
My name's Brian Willman.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
And I am a cyclocross racer. In Cycle U, they teach you to have a mantra, and mine goes like this. I'm a cyclocross racer. I ride through mud and sand on purpose. I get off a perfectly good bike and carry it. I'm clearly deranged and not overly bright, but I am relentless, for I am a cyclocross racer.
Nice.
Well, truth is, actually, I'm probably the slowest guy in the field, but have fun in a workout better than I can get anywhere else. And cross, like any outdoor sport, is a great aid to your footwork and agility. So I encourage people to come try cross. Even if you decide it's not for you, it's a thing to do, it's a good thing to practice, and you'll find ordinary riding on the street, things like sewer grates are less of a hazard because you're better at dealing with random crap in the way.
So talk about the cyclocross community. How do you find the community?
It's always been very nice to me. I'm an old, large white guy, right? So I can't speak of how other people experience things, but it's always been good to me. And it's cross is very much a run with your brung. In fact, there was a lady and some guys I know were helping with a setup on her bike a little bit ago. It's like, okay, those tires aren't ideal, but it's cross. You're out your brung, you got what you got. She likes the bike, that's great. Go ride it. Go get some better tires before the next race. And there's some really high spendy bikes here, including one I ride, but you can go get some pretty tired bike from the U District auction, or go to Recycled Cycles and see if they have a used bike that fits you. Make sure the brakes work and it's in good, safe order, and bring it out and ride it. Right. All you really need are tires that are somewhat suitable.
How long have you been doing it?
I started in 2011. I retired from racing cars in 2011, and then took up cyclocross almost immediately after. Yeah. So I'd been a road rider since I was like 9 or something, and the first bicycle races I ever entered were cyclocross, and I ended up wanting a different bike, and dismounting and remounting were the things to learn. See, the thing about cross is that, unless you're in a UCI race or something, it's make it up as you go kind of thing. And so long as you're in reasonable physical health, if you had a bad cardiac condition or something, but other than that, you should come try it, right? And it's a welcoming sport. I think both series now have ambassadors where they'll get an experienced rider, who can show you how to get around. There are places you can go and learn how to dismount and remount. I've never gotten very good at either, and it turns out not to be that big a deal. So yeah, there's absolutely technique to learn, but if you can ride a road bike, you can ride cyclocross almost certainly. Most people anyway. I started in 2011, and I've done it almost continuously since then. So I missed 2015 because I had total knee replacement in my right knee, and I missed 2020 because we all missed 2020, right? But other than that, I've been riding cross every year.
How many more races do you have this year?
Well, for sure, the last 4 in the Cyclocross Revolutions and MFG series, and then I'll probably go do 1 or 2 in the Cascade. Depends a little bit on the weather. Last year I was going to go to one Cascade race, and the weather was predicted to be minus 15 or something. I think I'm going to skip this.
That sounds like one to skip.
Yeah, but Lutherwood's beautiful place. And then they do things like it's a figure 8 that crosses live with hay bales and a marshal to help you not collide with each other and stuff like that. It's fun to do. Cyclocross is about fun and challenge, and not about... This is not Formula One. This is not even pro sports car racing. You don't need a 53-foot trailer and 26 people to go practice, right? You can take your bike to the park and practice riding around in the grass and getting on and off.
Right.
So it's a lot of ways a really easy, inviting sport. And unlike mountain biking, where the bikes have become very sophisticated and complicated, and I do that too, and I have those bikes, a very basic bike will serve you as a cross bike, so as long as you get wide enough tires on it.
Yeah, gotcha. Now you're wearing, it looks like a team jersey.
Yeah, Recycled Cycles Racing is the team, sponsored by Recycled Cycles in the south end of Boat Street, south end of the U District, and parts and commuter bike parts and other such essential stuff, especially if you're in the U District.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the team, fairly welcoming team, and there's a few of us here today. I think we put up a tent. So
yeah.
See, you people listening to this can't see me. I'm a very large man. Now about 240 pounds. I was 51 when I took up cyclocross. I was probably heavier than then. And so do not be thinking you're too old or that you're too heavy or too thin or any of those things. If your health is, if you have cancer or something, that's a different thing, right? But if your health is fundamentally reasonable, it's a thing you should, not for me to tell you what you should do, but if you're reasonably healthy, it's a thing that you could try, and I encourage people. It's a lot of fun, it's great exercise, it's a great workout, it develops your agility and skills and other things. So don't be afraid to come try it, even though you're post 50, post 60.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, what's your name?
David Christ.
Nice to meet you, David.
Nice to meet you.
So how long you been doing cyclocross?
This is the first year recently, and I did it for 5 or 6 years in the 2000s.
Okay.
So I'm getting back because my son's we went to Woodland Park last year and watched the race, and he got hooked, so I had to do it.
Nice. So, do you do other cycling besides this?
Off-road, mountain biking,
Okay.
more cross-country.
So what draws you to this or how would you say this is fun?
Oh, it's just stupid fun.
Okay.
It's like you're getting away with something, riding a roadish bike on grass and mud. So
Gotcha.
it's just stupid.
Gotcha.
The community is incredible, so it's so much fun.
Nice. What did you think of the course today?
It was really nice, really nice. The climb was challenging.
Okay.
There should have been a defibrillator at each top. But yeah, it was great.
So the descent down the mountain bike trail?
Oh, that was fun. We're coming from a mountain bike background. That was fun.
How long do you think you'll do this? Are you planning on doing it for a while?
Yeah. We're getting back into cross country and cross. So yeah, I see doing it a long time until I break something again, and then I'll shift back to other sports.
Okay. What are you riding?
I've got old Moots, candy brakes. So the temptation is to jump up to a disc brake rig, but I don't think I can spend five digits right now.
Okay. So, do you think you'll do more races this year?
Yeah, my son's done all of the MFG races this year, and I missed one from a broken rib. Yeah, we're doing these. We're just trying to get fit and do cross country races in the spring, and we're gonna try to be in shape for the BC bike race, the stage race in July up in Vancouver Island.
So what might you tell someone who's over 60 that's considering doing cyclocross?
The standard answer is just get out and do it, but you'll find people from 5 years old to, I know there's people over 70 that are much faster than me. Everybody's out to support. It's just a ridiculously good community. That's why you should try it.
So some things that someone new to it that's coming from like road cycling might want to do to prepare for a race. What are your thoughts on that?
In the early season, they have training over at Marymore on Tuesdays or Wednesday nights, and really good like Cat 1 racers will be there to show you tips on how to dismount and ride off camber. My son and I would go ride over at St. Edwards because it's an easy single track. Just get familiar, but you can always control how technical something is by going a little bit slower or walking. That's totally fine. So for first races, Magnuson is great because it's not a very technical course. It's pretty flat, and you can really control how technical it is by how fast you go. So that's a great first course. And Woodland Park, it's this silly atmosphere, so that's a blast to either go watch or go do.
Perfect. In addition to riders, I was interested in talking to the organizers of the event. So I was able to run into someone from Bell Lap who provides some technical support for MFG.
Say when.
So tell me your name.
My name is Michael Copenhaver.
How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great today. The sun's out. Can't ask for much more.
So what do you think about the race today?
They always put on such a good show here. This is a favorite course of mine. I'll be racing in the next race, so I'm looking forward to it. Everyone's saying it's a fun course. The weather's cooperating. It's great,
And so,
go ahead.
So who are you with?
I'm with Bell Lap Productions. We are a timing company based out of Seattle. We do mountain bike races and road races and 5Ks and that kind of stuff. So we are here helping MFG operate their timing setup for this race.
What would you say about the participation of older racers? Have you seen that increase? Is it a big thing?
No, and the funny thing is they're often some of the fastest folks out here. Like, they're dedicated. They always show up. They're always giving good feedback. They always come and actually do the podiums, instead of just getting out of here as soon as they're done. They're really a big part of the community.
Now, I've heard a lot about the cyclocross community here. You guys do a lot of mountain bike racing.
We do.
What's that community like?
It's a lot of the same folks, to be honest. Both of these types of cycling are known for the community and for being helpful and not being super elitist and always on the clock, strictly business kind of folks. And there has to be an element of that. If you walk over and see that sketchy descent over there, you'll know that it looks fun, and you got to have a certain element about you to think that kind of thing is fun, and it makes for friendly people.
Well, thanks for taking the time.
Casey Bloomer is live today.
I was planning to talk with someone from MFG while I was at the event. However, it turned out that it was just too busy to pull someone aside. But I was able to get Eric Olson from MFG to jump on the phone with me. Thank you, Eric, for joining me and talking a bit about MFG. I have attended a couple events now. I was at Magnuson Park and then also at LeMay. My son-in-law is dragging me there because he is racing now.
Good.
Yeah, so LeMay was his second race. And it's a fun environment. So I wanted to have you on and ask you a few questions. I did some interviews with some people who were participating who are over 60 and had some fun doing that. And I just wanted to hear from you. Can you talk about kind of what your role is at MFG and then a bit about MFG?
Sure. We'll start with the organization. So there's 4 of us in a LLC called Off Camera Productions. It's myself, Mike McGuffin, Blaine Felton, and Chris Rohde. And it turns out that Mike and I are both in the just newly minted 60-year-old race category. So we're both 59, but we're in that zone. Let's see. We purchased MFG about 3 years ago. It had started in the, I think around 2009 zone. I should know the history better, but I don't. It started way back. Terry Buchanan, a longtime racer who I've known for decades, started it and really grew it with his partnership with Zach, Dab, and some of the other folks. It was mainly Terry and Zach doing it. COVID in the year 2020 obviously shut that all down, and it remained dormant. MFG remained dormant in 21 as well. And at that point, Terry and Zach and the team decided to pass it along to the next generation. And the group, the 4 of us came together and purchased it. So we formed an LLC called Off Camber. And the reason for that was we also wanted to do more than just cyclocross. So at this point, we have and run MFG. And then we also have a gravel brand that we're starting called Grit. So that's kind of the background, a teeny bit of history. All of us come to it from a racing background. I've been racing since the mid 80s, I guess. So a lot of deep knowledge in both Northwest and in racing, road, mountain, and in general.
When people think about MFG events, what is it that you guys want to have them think about? What's your goal as far as MFG or maybe even, and maybe extends to all of Off Camber events, but what do you want people to think about when they think of your events?
Yeah, so the first and foremost thing, and I'm not going to give you the vision statement because I probably can't remember it right off the top of my head, but the first and foremost thing is we want it to be a welcoming environment for everybody. So one of our slogans that you'll see kind of bandied about is all are welcome. And we really mean that. So we're reaching out to anyone who wants to ride a bike. We want to provide them an opportunity to do that. So last year, I would just highlight one of the things that we were really proud of is the non-binary adult category. It's a group that hasn't necessarily been accepted or necessarily welcomed or maybe just ignored by lack of, attention. But last year at Woodland Park, we had a non-binary race, and it turned out to be what we think is the largest non-binary bike race ever. So we're really proud of that. So we we want to make everyone feel welcome. It's not just for kids. It's not just for unicycles. It's not just for non-binary racers or elites for that matter. It's really, we want to make everyone feel welcome and feel like they have a place in the cyclocross community. And we try to so building on that, we try to also run our races very professionally. We're sticklers for getting good results as quickly as we possibly can. We're going to make sure that people have all the facilities they need. So we bring in food trucks. We make sure we have enough porta potties. We have a welcome tent. We have a trainer partnership with Wahoo, and there's a tent there that people can warm up on. So one of the other kind of key focuses is getting new people into the sport, right? If you look at the demographics, our largest waves are the ones that have the higher categories, so the less experienced racers, the Cat 3s and Cat 4s, men, masters. So that's great. It's a dedicated crowd, but it's never going to grow the sport if we just focus on that. So one of the other things that we really focused on are beginners. So we have half-price beginner races to make it kind of easy for people to go into the sport, give it a try. It's only $25. It's worth a shot, right? And maybe that's something that you or your son-in-law have experienced.
I do want to comment on that because it's absolutely true that my son-in-law had never participated. He had gone and watched the cyclocross race and it didn't prepare or anything. In the first time he ever rode on a cyclocross track, I don't know what you would call them.
Course, yeah.
Course, there we go. First time he ever rode on a cyclocross course was when he did the warm-up before his first event. And the reason that he felt comfortable with that was that it wasn't a huge investment to participate. He threw some new tires on his bike and the entry was reasonable and he felt really comfortable participating. And now I think he feels really hooked.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're aiming for. Some of the other things that we've done to try to help new racers or new participants, we have these preview laps. I'm not sure if you're aware of those or you are, but what we do is we get a very experienced cross racer to basically gather up at a certain time that we publish on our website and say, hey, you can ride with this cat. It's going to be a high category, a very experienced racer, like I said, and they'll take you through the course and they'll say, hey, here you're probably going to want to do this or you want to do that and answer questions. And so it also helps people become familiar with stuff so that you're not just out there necessarily jumping around and trying to figure it out for yourself. So between those things, I think that we've seen some really impressive numbers coming in with our beginners. And then we hope it's like your son-in-law's experience, like, gosh, that was a lot of fun. It was hard, but I enjoyed myself and now I'm going to do this more. And, maybe it's going to resonate and maybe it's not, but we kind of want to lower the barriers to entry.
The people that I was interviewing, basically every single one, highlighted that the community is an awesome community. I really like it that you highlighted what you're doing, and how welcoming in the non-binary events that you're offering. It seems like that is matching a dynamic that is there with the community already. It's not like you guys are trying to develop a community that's welcoming, but really matching a community that's welcoming that exists. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. Cyclocross in general is a pretty welcoming community, but if you go into any new situation, be it cyclocross or maybe it's any kind of event, maybe it's running or whatever, if you get in there and you don't really know what the vibe is or how the flow goes, it can be a little intimidating because you're going to do this athletic event that it's going to be hard for an amount of time. So what we try to do to build on that welcoming community that exists, like I said, we try to make it, like I said, easy to kind of get in and try to hold people's hands a little bit as much as we can to get them in. And then furthermore, the other part of that community is really the teams, right? And we say teams, it's not like a super serious thing. You got to do all these stuff to be on a team. It's really a group of like-minded people, and they can be serious, they can have fun. But what we've seen is once people they kind of find their tribe in this overall community called cyclocross, then they'll go in and they'll find a bunch of people, generally on a team, that, hey, I want to hang out with these folks for the day. There's going to be a tent. Maybe we'll set up a barbecue. Maybe we'll just hang out and help each other. But that's kind of the next level of kind of that community. Is it's the overall, it's the race promoter providing that, and then it's teams that really kind of cement people in when they get kind of to that level of wanting to do it every weekend.
That's awesome. I think that's great. Another thing about the people I was interviewing were they were category 4 riders over the age of 60. And I'm wondering if you could comment a bit about that over 60 scene. Is that a healthy scene? Is that a scene that you see as in a particular way? How do you view the older participants of the events?
It's interesting, kind of being in that space. I think there's kind of distinct levels. So category 4 is kind of someone who might be newer, maybe they don't put a lot of time on the bike, whatever. It's all good. Versus the upper categories. So like category 1 or category 2. What I have seen over my years of racing is that people who are into it, I've been racing against the same guys for 20 years, and that's a really great community, because even if we're not on the same team, by and large, we're all friends, and we'll work really hard during the race and try to beat each other up. But after the race, we're having a great time. It's just a really nice vibe. And I think that you could say that even over 50, certainly over 60, that the competitors, no matter what category they're in, they tend to be a lot more supportive of everyone else's endeavor. So that's kind of a really nice part of the environment. Certainly in cyclocross, there's a lot of chance to let's say there's 10 or 20 people in your field, and you're mid pack, so you're almost always going to be racing for 10th. Well, there's probably a guy or 2 or 3 that you're always going to be riding with, and you end up developing really good relationships with these people, that you're having this so-called race within a race. As it turns out, you kind of race against the same people. And it's not just always a race for first. You want to get that 10th place, or maybe you'll get 9th this week if you have a really good race. So that keeps the racing very interesting, but at the same time, doesn't put the pressure on, hey, if you don't win, you're nothing, right? It's hard to describe a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is there's always a chance for everyone throughout the field, no matter where they place, to have a meaningful time by competing either against themselves or against these people that they normally race with.
Well, I have to say that meeting people and seeing it, I'm attracted to it. I've gotten back on the bike for the first time just a couple of years ago. I'm 61, so I think I'm going to be shooting for getting out next fall and doing my first race. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm going to go take some classes. I'm going to see how my bike handling feels. It just looks like a great thing to participate in. So I'm looking forward to at least giving it a try.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, the other great thing about cross is you can go as fast or as slow as you want. And, no one's really gonna care. And I think I would encourage you and all the folks listening to the podcast to come out to Woodland Park, because that is unlike anything that you and your son-in-law have seen so far. We'll probably have 2.5 to 3 times the number of racers. It's going to be a big party scene. And you talk about community. I mean, this is, as far as we know, the largest cyclocross event in the world by number of racers. And there's just, there'll be throughout the day 2,000 people there, and tents and hand ups and parties. And it's going to be amazing. It's just a really, really fun time.
Just to clarify, Woodland Park is in Seattle. So if you're in the Seattle area, come by, check it out. But I'm thinking if you're, if you're 2 hours, 3 hours from Seattle and you're curious it'd be worth it to take the time. It sounds like the kind of event that is just an experience.
It is. We have racers that I've talked to from Vancouver that are coming down and making a weekend out of it. There should be a big contingent from Portland. If you look at two metro areas that have the largest race series, it's Portland and it's Seattle. Way bigger than anything else in the U.S. So their series, I think, ends this week. And so I hope and I think a lot of those folks are going to come up and kind of join our party. So yeah, it should be great. Now, I want to come back to something that you asked. I don't think I answered, but in terms of the over 60 field, it's fairly stable. And I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but my impression is it's growing a little bit in the 3 years that we've operated. Certainly once people get into it, they stay into it. And in fact, I'll give you one example. We had a gentleman down at Fort Steilacoom who crashed. So I was assisting him in first aid. Anyway, this guy had been racing for years. He was 80 years old, and he had crashed. He kind of cut his leg up pretty good, and everyone was like, "Oh, you should stop." And he refused to stop and just had chugged along and had a really good race. And so it's fun to see the first graders going out there and the kiddie races to guys like this gentleman who is in his 80s and still crushing it. So yeah, like I said, it's wonderful for the over 60 crowd. It's good exercise. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of community, and people love hanging out all day and watching the races towards the end of the series. The end of the day. The way that we set it up is we have 7 waves in our races. The wave 6 is when the elite racers go, so that's going to be the highest and fastest. But then wave 7 is kind of our goofy wave, if you will. So we have our single speeders, and some of those guys, a lot of them are tremendous athletes, and some of them are just having fun with good beer. And we have unicycle. So we have a unique unicycle category. We have a tandem category, and so that's pretty much just for fun. And those it's a treat watching those folks race. And I really enjoy both the tandem and the unicyclers getting out there. My point is that at the end of the day, after 12 noon, that's kind of a great time to come down and watch the racing for those folks who are interested.
Well, I'm looking forward to staying for all the races at Woodland Park. Eric Olson, thank you so much for coming on. I didn't have a long time to talk, but just the work that you guys are doing there, I believe it's paying off. The events are fun. It's just a great environment. So thanks for coming on and sharing some information about cyclocross and about MFG.
You bet. Happy to do it.
All right. Bye now.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Come on now. Doesn't hearing from those people just make you want to get involved? I will be attending the Woodland Park event. I'll give a report on what Eric called the largest cyclocross event in the world in a couple of weeks. If I do ride in an event next year, I think it will be either the Magnuson Park event or at Woodland Park. The course at LeMay last weekend seemed too technical for me. But maybe I will get in some good training between now and then and be up to the challenge. I feel like I am a long way right now from being comfortable with mountain bike trails on my road bike with gravel tires. If I do Magnuson Park, I could also decide to do Woodland Park later on. Fortunately, there is a long time before I need to make any decision on what I'm going to do. I want to again give a shout out to everyone in the Cycling Over 60 Strava Club. I really enjoy seeing what you are all doing. It is very, very inspiring. Thank you for sharing your biking with everybody. Whether you are someone like me and love seeing all the Strava data, or someone who sees that as a distraction, I hope you are finding a bunch of safe, scenic, and fun rides. And remember, age is just a gear change.